Hello, everybody. Welcome to Embroidery Happy Hour. For those of you new, hi, I'm Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, and I'm over here with Mello in the back. So, what are we going to be talking about tonight? All right, we're going to be talking about how to run an embroidery business and some of the things that people are doing when they are losing money. You want to get out, Mello, already? Okay, hold on. Let me open up the door for Mello here. All right, so we're going to be talking about that. But before we do that, now you want to stay? I do want to make a couple of announcements, okay? I have two announcements that I want to share with you guys. Now, the first one is next Friday. Next Friday, I am not going to be hosting Embroidery Happy Hour because I am going to be attending the H&H Americas with Nancy from Gifts HQ. Now, I'm also going to be working as a security guard for her, okay? I am supposed to watch her wallet so that she doesn't spend too much money, all right? So I don't know how that's going to go. I might slack off on that job, but I promised Mr. H that I was going to take care of her, okay? And make sure that the wallet doesn't come out of the pocketbook too many times. We'll see how that goes. All right. So it looks like, I might get fired. I don't know. We'll see. And the other thing that I wanted to announce to you guys is that we're going to be hosting the Christmas in July pretty soon. So I want to give you guys a couple of background about what Christmas in July gift exchange is all about. Now, the the gift exchange that I host every year is a reason why I do this is because as we are, sewers, embroiderers, crafters, we like to make things for other people, right? But sometimes what happens is we don't get anything in return, right? So, and it's not that people don't love us, it's just that they don't have the same passion that we have in actually creating something. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to set up a gift exchange where people throughout the United States can sign up, and then what they can do is they can create a gift for someone else and they mail it out. And then what we do is we open up the gifts and we show it off in a live event. So if you want to participate, this is about, I think, the fourth year that I am doing this. I usually do a Christmas gift exchange, but some folks wanted me to do Christmas in July as well. So I think this is maybe the third time that I'm doing Christmas in July. So it is a lot of fun. So if you want to participate, you can. One of the things that I do say is that if you do participate in this, please make sure that you send out your gift, because the last thing that I want is for someone to send out a gift and not get something back in return. So if you're not sure if you're going to be able to send something out, then I would say refrain from joining into the gift exchange, and maybe you can do it another time. I always try to do this twice a year. It's been really successful. It's a lot of fun. And I just love seeing people's faces, light up whenever they open up their gift. And there have been some really awesome gifts that people have made. Okay. So let me give you guys a couple of important dates about the gift exchange. So that way, if you are interested in doing the gift exchange, what dates to look out for. Okay. So the registration link, I will be putting that on our Facebook group in Embroidery Happy Hours Adventures. I will be posting that. And the registration actually opens on May 18th. Okay. So after May 18th, all the way to May 29th, people can go ahead and register. I will be watching that registration very closely, and I'm going to probably reach out to some of the people that are kind of new, because I want to make sure that we don't get any scammers in there and stuff. So I try to do my diligence in trying to make sure that people that are in there legit, everybody's committed, and they're going to do what they have to do. Okay. So after May 29th, okay, the registration for the gift exchange is going to be closed. That means that no one else could go ahead and join the gift exchange. And then on the next day of May 30th, that is when the names are going to be drawn. So what's going to happen is everyone is going to be assigned a certain person that they're going to make a special gift for. There is no buying or anything. So whatever it is that you do, whatever your magic is, whether it's quilting, whether it's sewing, whether it's embroidery, whether it's the Cricut, whether it's making proxy cups or anything like that, it's your thing, right? So it's about making something for someone else. Okay, so it's really going to be pretty cool. Then what's going to happen is I ask people to make sure that whatever special gift you made for that person that you've been assigned to, make sure that you mail it out no later than July 3rd. Now, we are going to do a show and tell, a live show and tell where everyone can get on and they get to open up their gifts and they get to share what they actually got from that special person. And that is going to be hosted on July 24th. So it's a lot of fun, guys. I have on the channel, if you look on the channel, you'll see our previous lives where we did our show and tell. It gives you an idea of some of the great gifts that people have received and have done. And it's a lot of fun. And so I really highly encourage people that if you want to participate, please do, because it is a lot of fun. And it's something that you'd be amazed at all the creativity that people get. So it's something that I really like doing. And people really seem to enjoy themselves when I do these gift exchanges. So it's something I guess that I'm just stuck with. I just got to do it. So I'm doing it twice a year, okay, in July, and then I do it again in December. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. So before we start, I also want to tell you as to why I picked this topic tonight. And I have 3 things that happened that made me think that this is a conversation that's worth having. Okay. The first thing, all right, because it's 3 things, is that we have weddings that are coming up. All right. And right now I am in the process of meeting with my customers, and I'm discussing some of their embroidery projects and, you know, what the expectations are and everything. So I'm having a lot of customers come and see me, place orders, talk to me about their ideas, things that they want to do. And I have been having these conversations with them. The other thing that made me think that maybe this is something that we need to talk about today was that we did have a post from one of our viewers out there that asked about the pricing of embroidery when you are the one that's not just doing the embroidery but also providing the product, and how would you go about pricing that. So that kind of gave me an indication that some people still do struggle with pricing their items accordingly. So that's why I figured we need to really have another discussion about this. You know, I know I've talked about pricing in the past, but I don't want guys to lose the money, okay? Because let's get down to it, guys. Honestly, all right? And some of you guys may, if you're very sensitive, my channel might not be for you, but I like to tell it the way it is, okay? I don't like to sugarcoat anything because that doesn't help anybody, okay? It does not. It does not going to help you to be successful, and that's really what I'm all about, okay? There is enough work in this world for everybody, okay? So there is no reason for anyone to be holding back. So I really feel that someone needs to be honest and step it up and just tell you guys the truth, whether it's something that you want to hear it or not. All right. So, pricing is difficult. Okay. It is one of the most difficult things regarding embroidery. And, we need to really talk about that honestly. All right. So I want to touch on that. So I'm going to be touching about some of this stuff tonight. Okay. Because I really think that it's important. All right. And the other thing was I was having a conversation with a good girlfriend of mine. And one of the things that she mentioned is that sometimes some of these folks, that are getting into the embroidery business area, sometimes they really don't know. Okay. You really don't know. You're just starting out, you're getting your feet wet. And a lot of these things you're going to learn through trial and error. Right. So I mean, I've learned a hard way in some situations myself. So, what better way is to share my personal experience on how I handle things? Because maybe this can help you. Okay. So, if you guys like tonight's discussion and some of the things that I share with you guys, and you feel that, this is something that can help someone else out, I really highly encourage that you guys go ahead and share this video with other people so that way they can learn as well. And I'm really hoping that some of the things that I mentioned to you guys will help build your confidence and also make you more aware about some of the things that you need to be doing, like certain discussions, and also how to properly price your stuff. So that way you're not losing money and you get to really flourish your embroidery business and you get to really do well. Okay. So that is one of the reasons that I really thought it was important that we have this conversation tonight. Okay. So that way we can really have this heart-to-heart conversation, because as you guys know, embroidery, it's not just stitching. Okay. It's really, if you want to run an embroidery business, think about this. The word business alone, what that means that you want to make some money, right? So you don't want to lose the money. You want to make money, and you should, because embroidery is very expensive. These machines are not cheap. And embroidery is a skill. It really, truly is a skill. And you have to know what you're doing. There is a lot of things that are involved in it. And you should be profitable. Okay. You should be. All right. So I find that sometimes, people just, I don't know, for some reason, it's like they want to do the business, but somehow it's like the confidence isn't there. So I want to make sure that you guys have a good understanding that you can do this. You can do this. It is not hard. It is not hard. It's just getting your mind ready to go for it. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Okay. So I'm going to break this down for you. Okay. So what do you need? First thing, you need to communicate to your customers before you're taking an order. The biggest misunderstandings is that cost you the money and your time is the communication, okay? And how you price your embroidery. That is actually going to help you make a profit, and to include when you're the one that's providing the items, all right? So I want to make sure that I jot all of that. Okay, now I am using a teleprompter, guys, because I have written down an outline, all right? So I just want to make sure that you guys understand, because I don't want to miss anything tonight, because I really think that tonight's going to be really important, and I want you guys to really have an understanding. So now let me see. I'm going to go down my teleprompter here. All right. So the communication and the pricing. Okay. That is something. Okay. You know what? The heck with the teleprompter, guys. I'm just not a teleprompter kind of person. All right. So I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to go down my notes. All right. And I'm just going to talk to you guys one-on-one like I always do. All right. I don't know how the newscasters do this and stuff, but this is not my thing. Okay. All right. Let me see. I already told you guys about the announcement and all that stuff. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. I'm going to go down. All righty. Okay. Let's talk about five of the problems, 5 issues that I find that are really, really, really important. Okay. That you guys really have to talk about with your customers. All right. Let me see. Where is number 1? All righty. Okay. Hold on. All right. The communication. That's the big one. And this is where a lot of times I find that some of you guys really do struggle with this, and you shouldn't have to, okay? You're gathering requirements. That's what you're doing. You got to meet the customer. You got to gather the requirements, all right? But the thing is that you have to understand that customers don't know embroidery. You are the embroiderer, not the customer. The customer has a vision of what they want, but you as the embroiderer is the expert. You know what works and what don't work, and you have to make sure that you communicate that with your customer. Give you an example, okay? The hell with the teleprompter. I'm just gonna roll with this. But I'll make sure that I don't miss anything. But I'm just gonna roll with it. Okay. I met with a customer, and she has a big wedding that's coming up. Okay. Now, one of the things that sometimes when you're dealing with folks that are in, planning a wedding, they're excited, right? It's a very important moment in their life. They're very, very excited. They want everything to be perfect and stuff, and they're going to have a whole bunch of ideas. So when I was talking with this customer, one of the things that they were doing was they were talking to me about certain ideas of items that they wanted to get embroidered. So she mentioned dinner napkins, which I thought that was a great idea, but she wanted it in a different way. She wanted these dinner napkins not just to be part for the wedding. It was a very small wedding, but she also wants these dinner napkins so that they can be reusable. So one of the things that she mentioned to me was, I have done dinner napkins for other wedding parties in the past, but they're usually like the initial of the bride and the groom and the wedding date. And it's a repeat process, right? Once I have the design, it's done. And then I go ahead and I embroider 50, 100, 200 dinner napkins, whatever the amount is. However, though, these dinner napkins are going to be different. These dinner napkins are going to have individual names on it. Okay, so as an embroiderer, you already know that means that every dinner napkin is going to have a separate name, its own unique name. So that means that it's going to be more time consuming than what I was talking about previously, where you have a dinner napkin that just has one design and you're doing 100. Now you have one dinner napkin, one design, another dinner napkin, another design, which means, guys, that I'm going to have to do 25 different embroidery files for every single napkin. Okay. 25 napkins, 25 designs. Okay. You have to think of all that. Okay. So when you are having conversations with your customers and they're giving you this idea, you have to think about, while they're thinking about how beautiful these dinner napkins are going to be, I have to be thinking about, I know I can do the dinner napkins. That's not a problem. But the thing is, I have to be thinking about all of the time that it's going to take for me to develop the 25 files and then to set up the machine. Okay. Because the thing is, we haven't even discussed thread colors yet. What happens if the customer comes out and she says, Jeanette, I want those 25 dinner napkins, but I want every name to be in a different color. That means I'm going to have to be changing threads. And that means I have to pay more attention to what I'm doing because every design is coming with a different color. So think about this, guys, the process. As customers are telling you the requirement of what they want, as an embroiderer, I'm going to be thinking about the process. How am I going to process all of these dinner napkins? And I have to think about my time, my energy, okay, and stuff. And then it's not just that. Sometimes what happens is a customer will come to you and they'll have this idea. They'll come to you with these types of materials, right? They can bring items to you. They have these shirts and the shirts are like really, really thin. Now, and I can embroider on it, but the thing is, should you embroider on it, right? You have to ask yourself that question, all right? Not everything you can hoop or not everything that you see should be embroidered. Okay. It may look great when it comes out of the machine, but for those of you guys that have been watching me for quite some time, know exactly what I always say. And I say this when I host the embroidery club at Susie's Quilt Shop in Manassas. One of the things that I tell the students that come to the classes is I tell them, when you are embroidering items, you have to not just think about the process. You also have to think about the life of that item. Okay. When it leaves you. Okay. When it leaves you, when it gets washed, when it gets dry, how is it going to withstand its life? Is it going to last? Is it going to look good? Okay. So sometimes you have to say no to certain things. Okay. Like one of the things that they were talking to me about was socks. And I was thinking to myself, can I embroider socks? Absolutely, I can embroider socks. Should we embroider socks? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, are those socks going to last? And when I had the conversation with the customer that wanted the socks, one of the things that she said, well, we throw those socks out every month. So I came out and I said, all right, so let's think about this. You want to spend money on embroidery on socks you're going to throw away? Why don't you embroider on something that's going to last a little longer? Unless you're okay with that, because think about it, it's their money, not mine. Okay. But my thing as an embroiderer is I'm there to help the customer make the best decision. Okay. Because think about it, they're going to be spending money. Embroidery costs money. Okay. And if you are good at what you do, all right, you're not going to be charging $1 for it. I know I don't. Okay. I charge what I know I should charge. I don't mess around with my pricing. But at the same token, and you guys have heard me say this in the past too, is if you're going to be charging the top dollar for your embroidery, you better make sure your skill set matches that price. Okay. You cannot charge top dollar and then your skill set is not there. If it's not there, don't do the embroidery business. I am telling you right now, what you need to do is practice, 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 practice. Turn on that machine and embroider all different types of materials with different types of designs and keep embroidering. Give them out as gifts and friends and stuff. Always look at what your mistakes are, how you can make them better and everything. You start an embroidery business when you know what you are doing. You don't do it just because you got the machine and you embroidered one napkin and all of a sudden it looks great and you think it came out really good and everything go, oh, that's it, I'm opening up a business. It doesn't work that way, guys. It doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of practice. Embroidery is a skill. A lot of people don't like hearing that. They don't like hearing that because they truly believe that embroidery is push a button on a machine and walk away. How far from the truth that is. I am telling you now, you may not like what I'm telling you. You may want to shut me off. If you do, go ahead. I don't care. But you know what? I'm telling you the way it is. Okay. A lot of times people watch a lot of videos and then they go, oh my God, that came out really cute. So easy. It really isn't. You got to know what you're doing. All right. You got to know what you're doing. So if anything that you take away from tonight, please take that away. Please. Please put that in your mind. You got to know what you're doing. All right. And I already saw I lost some viewers. So I could see people don't like what I'm saying, but that's okay. It's okay. All right. Because I'm just going to tell the truth. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So you got to make sure that you have the communication. All right. You got to make sure that you are sitting there with your customers. You're gathering their requirements. You have a full understanding of what they want and make sure you are honest. That is the other thing. You're not there to tell the customer what they want to hear. You need to tell them what they need to hear. You are the embroiderer. You know what works. You know what doesn't work. You know what's going to look good. You know what's going to look a little funky, okay? You need to let them know. If it's not going to look right, tell them. Tell them, okay? I mean, don't be afraid about losing a sale. What you should be afraid of is taking a sale and you know it's going to look funky and then you do it and then it does look funky. And then you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a bad rep. That's what you should be scared of, okay? And I'm telling you up front, that is what you really, really need to. I'm serious, guys. I'm so serious. You have no idea. Don't be afraid to tell the truth. You have to be honest. Remember, customer is a customer. You are the embroiderer. Customers don't know about embroidery. It's not their job to know about embroidery. It's their job to know what their vision is. It is your job as the embroiderer to be honest enough with them and let them know if this is something you can do or not. Okay? You can't, there's not the time for you to be shy. It's not the time for you to just be agreeable. It's not about that. It's not about being agreeable. I'm not saying you got to be mean. What I'm saying is you got to be honest, okay? I have been honest with people. I have had customers come to me locally and they come to me with some design, or sometimes they'll come with an item and then they say, I want this color. I look at it, I put it and go, okay, I know you like the color. I know, that this is what you want, but I want you to think about this. You're not going to be able to see it. It's not going to be clear. You're spending a lot of money on this embroidery. Are you sure this is what you want? Or would you like me to make a recommendation? It's okay to make a recommendation. You should make recommendations. You have been doing embroidery for such a long time. You know what works and what don't work. They don't know. You do. So share it. Tell them. Go, you know what? That light pink is not going to show. Let's go a little shade darker. Pink is what you want? Okay, let's go a little bit darker. I have several shades of pink. The one you picked is a little bit too light. I even go as far as I will stand on the other side of the room, hold the shirt up against me with the thread and against it and say, does that look clear to you? Okay. You're there to help the customer make the best decision. Okay. And with your experience, that is what comes into play. It is not for you to be the yes person and all that stuff. They're coming to you and they want to pay you for your expertise. That is the time for you to actually communicate that. I have lots of customers that sometimes come to me with a really thin shirt and I tell them that ain't gonna work. I tell them right up front, it ain't gonna work. Okay, but let's see what we can do to make it work. This is your logo. This is your design. It's very dense. Go get another shirt. I tell them, get another shirt. Let me help you pick a shirt. Let's look at the different types of fabrics of shirts. Let me show you how I can make this work for you. Okay, provide the solutions to them. Provide the solutions to them. That is just so, so, so important, guys. You have no idea. I mean, it really, really is. It's going to save you a headache in the long run. It really, truly is. The last thing you want is for you to go ahead and just be agreeable to whatever they want, and then something happens. Then becomes your problem, your fault. You're the one that's going to get the bad reviews in your business, okay? There is a reason why. And I'm telling you, there is a reason why if you Google my business, you're going to see I'm 5-star. Okay. I have customers come to me because my reviews are top notch. Okay. And there's a reason for it because I don't play around. I don't. I know what works. I know what don't work. And I have no problem with being totally honest with the customers and helping them find what's going to work for them. That's what you have to do. A lot of times people say, well, Jeanette, that takes a lot of work. Well, yeah, that's what it is. It's work. You're running a business. You're going to have to work. It's part of it. And that's why when you do your embroidery prices, that all gets incorporated in there. You want top-notch service? You got to pay a top-notch price. If you want mediocre service, then you go to the Dollar Tree embroiderer. That's where you go. Okay. And good luck with that. Okay. So, you have to be confident in what you do. Okay. And how you do it. All right. Make sure you talk to your customers and stuff. Make sure that they have a good understanding. Now, there was a couple of things too that I wanted to put in here about things that you got to communicate, okay, before you're even taking an order with a customer, okay? Let's talk about design expectations, okay? Now, before you stitch anything, your customers need to know the size of the design that they want, the size, the font style that they want, their thread, and also their placement. That is very, very, very important. One of the things that I tell people is never assume anything. Don't assume that customers have an idea regarding size. But when people start talking small, medium, large, when people come out and tell me, oh, I want a small font, small to you might be a different definition than what small means to me. Okay. When I'm dealing with fonts, I deal with sometimes very, very tiny fonts where I have to use 60 weight threads with a 65/9 size needle. Okay. And to them, they don't know. They don't know what small is in the embroidery world. You know, but they don't. So you don't want to have those misunderstandings. All right. So which is why one of the things that I try to do is I always try to give them a test stitch. Okay, that is really important. If you don't want to go through the trouble of stitching out the whole design and stuff like that, do a printout from your software. Do a printout from the software in the actual size, because what that does is you have a template right there that tells the customer how it's actually going to look. Okay, the actual size. Don't assume that they understand. And when they come on, they tell you, oh, I just want a block. I just want a script. I just want this, that, whatever. Don't assume anything. Make sure you have their vision solid. And I'm talking solid, okay? Make sure that you are solid in that, all right? Because you don't want something to happen. You take the time, you embroider it, they come back, and this is what's going to happen. They're going to say, oh, I didn't know it was going to be that small, or I didn't know that was going to be that big, or, oh, I didn't know that color was going to look like that. I thought the thread, the color was going to be a little lighter, or it was going to be a little darker, or, I wanted green, but I wanted like a lighter green or a lighter this or whatever. Don't assume. Don't assume. Let me tell you guys how to get around that, okay? First of all, you got to meet those customers. I have customers that, I don't know, where I live, they have this phrase, porch drop off, porch pickup. I don't do any of that. Okay, I don't do porch drop off. I don't do porch pickup. If you want that type of service, you go to the Dollar Tree embroiderer. You're not going to come to Jeanette, okay? Because Jeanette wants to meet you. Jeanette wants to sit down with you. She wants to have a conversation with you. It's not that we have to like be best friends or whatever, but I want to know what it is that you need. Okay, and I want to make sure that I get all your requirements and I have a full understanding down to the thread color. And all that conversation that me and you have, when me and you are talking, guess what? I got my notebook. I got my notebook in front of me and I am taking down notes. I am taking down notes about the design. I'm talking about the size. We're talking about the different fonts. I actually bring my laptop down with me and I go through the fonts with the customer and I say, hey, okay, you want script? I have script. Let me look in the library and let me show you all my script. When they pick that font, I write down in my notebook, what is the font that they picked? Then we even go and have the discussion on thread colors, okay? You want green? Sure, I have green. Go through my threads. Okay, here we go. We're going to go. Look, all these greens that I have right here. Pick one. Pick a green. Tell me which one you want. Once they pick it, let's say the customer goes, oh, I like this green. This is the green that I want. Well, you know what I do? I go and I look at it and I go, okay, this is the thread color and stuff. And you know what I do? I take a Ziploc bag and I take this thread and I put it in there. And the Ziploc bag has their name on it, okay? Because I know that is the color that they picked. Then when I do the invoicing, my invoice has all the details, okay? I write down everything. I write down what the embroidery service they're going to get. What am I going to be embroidering on? The quantity. It's going to have the price, the thread colors that they picked, the font style that they selected, okay? And also the size of the overall design, where that embroidery is going to be embroidered. Is it going to be a right side logo? Is it going to be a left side logo? Is it going to be on the back? Is it going to be on the front? Is it going to be in the center? Is it going to be on a jacket? Is it going to be on a hoodie? Is it going to be on a sweatshirt? All that detail. And I know I'm saying a mouthful, but it is all on the invoice. It is all on the invoice. Be as detailed as possible. That invoice is your contract. That is the contract between you and the customer, okay? Then, once you have everything on the detail, this is the most important part, guys, okay? This is where some of you guys really mess up. You really need to get this right, okay? You don't turn that machine on until you get all your money. Not 50%, not, oh, can I pay you cash later? No, I'm running a legit business, okay? I have a registered business, okay? I am required by my state to collect sales tax. I am also required by my accountant, okay, to use the account, my software, okay, and I use QuickBooks, and I have to write down that invoice and I have to send it to the customer, and the customer has to pay that invoice, but using QuickBooks through the link of the QuickBooks, which shows all the details of the service that they're getting. And it also shows the sales tax that I'm collecting. And I get the payment in full, not half. I don't do half. Okay. If you want to play that money game, you're going to have to play it somewhere else. You ain't playing it here. That's one thing for sure. Okay. I don't take personal checks. I don't even take cash. I don't want the cash. Okay. I don't want any funny business with the IRS. You're going to pay through QuickBooks, and I'm going to pay my taxes like I'm supposed to, and I'm going to collect the sales tax like I'm supposed to, and I'm going to send it. I don't do funny business. If you're looking for funny business, you can't come here. This is not the place, and I don't tolerate it. Now, I am going to say that I know that some people, I know personalities are different, guys. I know that. And I know that when I talk to some people that run an embroidery business and stuff, they're kind of, maybe they're introverts or something like that, or they're not as vocal. I understand that I do have a different type of personality. Okay. I have no problem being very upfront with people from the very beginning. Okay. I really, it's just my personality. My sister will tell you that, okay? Because sometimes my sister's like, Jesus, Jeanette, you're just like bang. And I am. I have that personality. So I know that for some people that don't have a personality like me, can be a little difficult. But I'm going to tell you something right now, and I'm going to tell you something real upfront. And this is nothing. I may end up losing another 15 viewers on this. I don't care. I'm just going to say it, okay? You have to be upfront if you're running a business. Okay. This is not the place for you to, how can I say this? It's not about nobody. It's not about somebody, sometimes people, let me say, okay. This is a business. It's about making money. It's about you providing a service, making sure you provide it correctly and well. And, and it's not personal, guys. It's not personal. All right. My customers, I look at them as what they are. They are customers. They're there because they're looking for a service, and I'm there to provide that service. I'm not their friend or anything like that. They're not friends of mine. We are there for a business transaction. It is not personal. Okay. And you have to look at it that way. If you start to take things personal, that is where you're going to start losing money, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to feel some kind of way about pricing correctly. And when you start doing that, okay, what's happening is your mindset is changing. What's happening is you're saying, okay, I want to make this customer happy. I want to keep this customer. So I'm going to be like, gee, I wonder what they're willing to pay. It ain't about what they're willing to pay. Honestly, no. It is about what are you going to charge properly for your time and your service. Okay? Point blank, if they're not willing to pay what you deserve, why are you even doing this then? Why are you making this sale? Okay? Why? Let's think about that. You're there to make money. You're not there. You're not a charity. You're not a charity, guys. Okay? This is a business. It's to make money. Right? You're going to lose money. Why are you doing that? Why are you telling the customer what you should charge? This ain't their business. It's yours. All right? You know the process. You took down everything that they said that they want. You know, you have it in your mind. You know exactly, what they want. And when they leave that door and you're facing these embroidery machines, okay, what you have to do. About all the stabilizer you're going to use. About all the time that you're going to be spending in designing, the digitizing. How many times you're going to be changing the thread colors, how many times you're going to be standing in front of these machines, and the hooping and all that kind of stuff and everything. Why are you selling yourself short? Why? They're not doing the work. You are. They're there to pay you to do the work. You're not charity, guys. You're not charity. All right? Or am I saying that word right? Charity? You're not supposed to give it away for free, okay? You're not there to do free work. You're there to do work so that you can make a profit, okay? These machines cost money. The money that you make out of these sales is to help you pay for these machines and the electricity that they pull, all the supplies that you have to buy, and all that kind of stuff. Do not sell yourself short. People do that all the time. Okay. And then, and people always ask the question, well, maybe this is too much or that. No, you know what you should charge. The other thing that drives me crazy, and honestly, guys, this drives me crazy, is when you see it on certain groups and people say, I have this order. What do you think I should charge? Meanwhile, I'm thinking to myself, oh God, they don't listen. People, sometimes someone in California can have a different price than someone that lives in Idaho or Ohio or New York or Florida, okay? Every state has a different cost of living, okay? Your stabilizer may cost more or less than the stabilizer that I've used. Your thread, you may have paid more or less. I know I get my items wholesale prices. Okay, because I have a business license and everything like that. So I don't pay sales tax when I buy my supplies and all that kind of stuff. And I pay wholesale prices when I buy my supplies as well. The thing is, if you don't have your business license and all that kind of stuff and everything, you may be paying retail prices for your stabilizer. You may be paying retail prices for your threads, your needles, and stuff like that. So that has to be incorporated. What I charge may be different from what you should be charging because our numbers are not going to be the same. Okay. So I know people get pissed off because they just want somebody to give them a number and say, oh, charge $20, charge $15. But you know what? You could be losing money. You could be losing money because you're not charging appropriately for your particular situation. Okay, so think about that. Okay, and this is not easy stuff, guys. Okay, so I know a lot of people, they're like, Jesus, running a business is a lot of work. It is. It really, truly is. Okay, there's a lot of administrative work that goes into it. There is a lot of things that happen before you even press a button. Okay, when you meet with customers, there's a lot of gathering of requirements and stuff like that. So that is really, really important. Okay, so enough with the design expectations and stuff like that. The other thing that I have here on my notes is the garment limitations, and I think I touched on that a little bit. Okay, jean jacket versus baby clothes that are very delicate and stuff. Hats. Let's talk about hats. Hats are a totally different ball game here, guys. Hats come in so many different variations, and all those variations, what do they equal? Different way to process embroidering the hats. Visors, baseball hats. Let's talk about the baseball hats, guys. Baseball hats are made different. You have 6-panel, you got 4-panel, you got 2-panel. You have structured hats, you have non-structured hats. You have hats that are, higher, some are lower. You got bucket hats. You have so many, okay? All, it can be tricky on how you hoop these items, okay? How you embroider them. And you also got to remember, too, embroidering on hats, very different from embroidering on regular clothing. You have to talk to your digitizer, okay? Sometimes, and I'm saying sometimes, you can probably get away with getting a regular design, having it digitized on a hat. But to properly work on hats, a lot of times what you have to do is you got to talk to your digitizer, and you got to make sure that when they create those embroidery files, they actually create it to work on hats. And if I remember correctly, it's from the middle out, okay? And it's from, I think it's the middle out, and maybe it's the bottom up, something like that. Digitizers know that. But you do have to let your digitizer know this is a file that's going to be embroidered on a hat, because you got to remember you got different hooping station, got different hoops. You have the hat driver and all that kind of stuff and everything. Totally different animal than embroidering on a shirt and a jacket and other stuff. So you got to remember that. All right. So, what you are working on, that all has to take an account. And when you are talking to the customers about that, trust me, they don't know. They don't know. And it's not really their job to know that, you have to redigitize a logo, but you have to explain that to them. I do have customers where I work on their business logo, and sometimes what I do is I'll embroider on their shirt. But guess what? When they want a hat, I have to get that logo redigitized for the actual hat, and they paid for that. I didn't eat that cost. They paid for it. But I had that conversation with the business owner up front, and I let them know, okay, well, I know you want me to embroider your logo. What do you want your logo to be on? Do you want them on hats? Do you want them on shirts? Do you want them on jackets and stuff like that? And we have that conversation with them. And I tell them up front that we're going to have to charge a little bit more. So because you have to digitize your logo for two things, for hats and for shirts. You know what I'm saying? So have those conversations with them. Okay. And so, make sure. Now, the other thing is I wanted to mention to you guys some of the things that I do tell my customers when I'm texting with them back and forward and stuff. And this is a statement that I usually give them. I want to read it to you. Due to the size and the material of this item, adjustments may be made for best results. Okay. And that is a conversation I have with them. And I'm going to tell you why I say this to them. Sometimes customers think that a drawing made in ink will look the same as stitches. And they're not the same. You have to make sure that they understand that, okay? Because this is not ink. This is thread. So you have to make sure you have those conversations with them, okay? All right. So the other thing, because I'm going a little slow and stuff like that, I think I'm getting passionate about this. That's why. I'm pretty passionate about what I do. I love embroidery. I can stand in front of these machines for hours. Anyway. The turnaround time. Let's talk about turnaround time. This is one thing that you guys need to stop saying to people, okay? Let's see. Where did I put down in here? Turnaround time. One thing that you got to stop saying, okay? I'll try to get it done soon. You don't say that. I'll try to get it done soon, okay? You got to be clear. This is an example how to be clear, and this is usually how I do it. My turnaround time is 3 to 4 business days, 5 to 7 business days. I give them a turnaround time. You need it sooner, there's a rush fee. Okay. Remember, for those of you guys that have been watching me for quite some time, know that I have a schedule book. Okay. I have a calendar. I keep a count. I schedule my orders. All right. I have a specific time as to when I'm going to work on your order. All right. But a lot of times I do put a buffer because sometimes things happen. All right. I may end up with a rush order. I may end up with somebody that has to get something embroidered today and they're willing to pay that rush order fee. And if they're willing to pay that rush order fee, then right, you can skip the line. It's going to cost you, but you can skip that line. I'll let you skip the line, but you're going to have to pay. Okay. And sometimes you'd be surprised. People will pay. They'll pay. Or they'll say, ooh, that's a steep. Okay, well, how, when can I get on your schedule? When's the next time you have available? And then I'll look on the schedule and I'll say, okay, I have an opening 3 weeks from now. Will that work for you? I can have it done during this time period. And I always tell them it takes 3 to 4 days. Okay, even though it could be a stitch that I could get done in an hour, I tell them 3 to 4 days. Are you okay with that? Okay, then that's fine. And you know what? Little secret, when they say that's fine, that means it really wasn't a rush. That's what it means. It means that they were trying to push you so that you could do it now. That's what it means. Okay. So sometimes you gotta read between the lines. Okay. The personalization accuracy. Remember, I was talking to you guys about that invoice earlier, and I was telling you that I put all the details on that invoice. I don't mess around. Okay. That's including the personalization. All right. Their mistake is not my mistake. One of the things that I make sure, and I even specifically tell them, okay, and I make sure I'm clear, I tell them, you must read the invoice in its entirety. If you don't agree with anything on this invoice, if you see anything, any type of misunderstanding or any issue, you don't pay the invoice. Because once you pay that invoice, that means you agree with everything that's on it. I'm going to print that invoice out, and that is my work order. That invoice becomes my work order. So if what is on the invoice is misspelled, okay, and I tell them, I don't care what the sample said, read the invoice in its entirety. Don't skip out on that through this whole process. And I make sure I'm very adamant about that. I am very, very adamant about that. Okay. Very. Because I tell them I work off that invoice. All right. And if there's a mistake, that means it's your mistake because you paid it. And your payment, and I even have a statement in there. Payment means that the invoice is accurate as written, and I will process the order as is. Okay. That's how I do it. Don't do it, guys. Don't come out and say, oh, there's a mistake. Oh my God. And then you eat it up. You're going to lose money. What are you doing? Their mistake isn't your mistake. It's not. I've had people make mistakes. I have had customers make mistakes. Okay. If I make mistakes, I eat it. That's mine. But if they make the mistakes, they got to eat it. I'm not there to lose money. I can't. I've had people go and order baby blankets and they go ahead and they type the baby's name wrong. Now, sometimes I will see and the name looks a little funky, and I will email them and I'll say, are you sure this is the correct spelling? I just want to double check with you, and they'll write back and they'll say, oh my goodness, thank you for catching that. And I go, not a problem. Okay. But when it comes to local orders, okay, local orders, whatever, well, it's the same thing with my Etsy. If that's what you type, that's what you get, unless, it really looks kind of off. And then I'll reach out to the customer and see if and verify, right? And sometimes if it is wrong, I'll tell them, don't worry about it. I'll change it on the order, and that way make sure that you got it right. But locally, I tell people your mistake is your mistake. It's not mine. Okay. So you got to make sure that you do that. Do not eat up the cost because somebody else made a mistake, because you're going to lose money like that. That's not how you run a business. You just don't do that. Okay. No returns on custom orders, period. Okay. I don't do returns. Custom equals final sale. Okay. If you don't say that and you're not upfront about that, then what's going to happen is you're going to start losing money. You really are. Okay. So you got to be really, really strict on that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Common customer misunderstandings. Okay. So let's talk about things that customers you'll hear people say, and which I've already kind of mentioned to you guys. I thought it was going to be bigger. It's not how I thought it was going to be. The rush orders and stuff like that. We already talked about how we could prevent these problems and stuff. We got beeping noise going on over here. Okay. So and all those things, honestly, these issues, a lot of them can be resolved if you just really, you got to take the time up front, guys. You got to talk to those customers. Don't let them do that drop off stuff. They do that where I live all the time. Porch drop off, porch pickup. We don't do that. I don't do that in the embroidery. I tell people up front, if you don't have the time to meet with me, then that means that you're not serious about getting your item embroidered. Or that means you're not ready to have it embroidered yet. Let me know when you have time. Okay. I don't take orders like that. I just don't. I just won't do it. And let me tell you, customers have tried, especially during Christmas time. Oh, can you just do a name on a stocking? I'll drop it off on your porch. No, I'm not going to do that. No, because names can be big. They can be small on a stocking. Block script. How do I know what color thread you want? I'm not doing this. I'm not going to go back and forth. I want you here so that we can gather all your requirements at one time, because I got other customers. I can't be chasing you. I can't ask you a question and then wait 4 hours for a response back. I don't work like that. I don't. That becomes a headache, and I prefer that somebody else takes on that headache, not me. That's just how I roll. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the charging. Okay. Let's talk about that. Because what time is it? Oh, it's almost 9:00. Okay. Let's talk about the charging. What should you be charging? Okay. You should be charging for your digitizing. Now, let's talk about stitch count for a minute. Some people like to say they like to charge by stitch count. There's 2 ways of going about this, okay? Some people come out and they say, oh, for every thousands of stitches, this is how much I'm going to charge. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not recommend using that. I know that you hear that term a lot. I don't recommend doing that because you are going to lose money big time, okay? Now, when I say look at the stitch count, what I am referring to is look at the stitch count in the theme of the time. How much time is that stitch count going to be under your needle on that machine? That's time, okay? And that is important. The materials, that is important. Your machine wear and tear, your electricity and all that stuff. Take all of that stuff in when you start calculating your prices. Now, let's talk about the question that was posted on the Facebook group, okay? One of the questions was, how much do you charge your customers when they're asking you to provide the blanks? And I say I double charge, okay? I'll give you an example. Let's say that somebody comes to me and says, I want to order the sweatshirts from you, and I want the sweatshirts embroidered with the logo, and I want to buy the sweatshirts from you. Okay, that's fine. Now, usually I don't do that, okay? Because I prefer for customers to bring the items to me because, sometimes clothing is pretty personal, right? It's personal because there's different textures, different styles, different fits. And what I like may not be what the customer likes. What I'm really focused on is the type of material that I can embroider on. But I do have some customers that are regular customers of mine. I already know the type of item they want, their sweatshirts and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes what they do is they'll come to me and they say, okay, I want to order 50 shirts with my business logo on it. And I want you to use the sweatshirts that, I don't want to buy the sweatshirts. I want you to buy them. I go, okay, fine, no problem. I know what style they want, what color and all that kind of stuff. And then I go to the wholesaler and I buy the sweatshirt. Now, this is what I do. I'm going to give you an example. You come to me and you say you want 50 sweatshirts, right? And you want me to buy the sweatshirts and then you want me to embroider on it. This is how it's going to roll. I'm going to go over to the wholesaler, okay? And I'm going to pick up the 50 sweatshirts. Now, the 50 sweatshirts, let me take out the calculator right now because I'm going to tell you exactly. We're going to work on this together because I'm going to show you how it rolls, okay? You want 50 sweatshirts. Okay, well, 50 sweatshirts, and let's say I get them at $8 a sweatshirt. 50 sweatshirts at $8 is going to cost me $400. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge you $16 a sweatshirt, okay? Because I'm going to double the price because now it's going to be 16 times 50. So right off the bat, for the material alone, I'm charging you $800, okay? Now we're going to talk about your logo and me embroidering on them, okay? So what's going to happen is then I'm going to look at how long it takes for me to embroider it. Now, it's a bulk order, okay? So some people talk about, don't you discount your prices? When it comes to bulk orders, yes, I do sometimes, discount the price of the embroidery. If you came to me and you said, I only need one shirt with my logo on it, then what you're going to be doing is you're going to pay $16 for that plus $15. No, I'm sorry. That used to be my old price. Now it's $20. So it'd be $16 plus 20. So you'd be paying $36. Is that right? Let me see. It'd be $16 for the shirt plus 20. Yep, $36 for one shirt. For one shirt, it'd be $36. Okay. However, you're ordering 50. So the logo, look, depending on the logo, and for the simple sake, let's say that it's a very simple logo. It's something that's only going to take about maybe 11 minutes to stitch, something like that. It's going to be $15 a shirt. Okay. Or maybe I'll go as low as maybe 12, $13. So you're going to pay, okay, so 13 times 50, let's say 13. Okay, that's $650 plus the $800. You're going to be paying $1,450 for that. For 50 shirts, okay, with your logo, ready to go, packaged up, for you to go pick up, is going to be $1,450. Now, some customers may come on and go, oh, that's a lot of money. No problem. Then we know what? Let's do this. You go out, you buy your 50 shirts, okay, on your own. You tell me where you bought those 50 shirts, just in case if I screw up a shirt, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replace that shirt. But then what's going to happen is I still charge you the $13 per shirt that I'm embroidering, okay, which it'll be 13 times 50, right? So how much was that? Okay, so 50 times 13, that means it's still going to be $650. But guess what happens, guys? This is the thing, okay? I'm not the one buying the shirts, all right? I don't have to go pick up 50 shirts. They're bringing it to me. They bring it to me in the boxes. I take them out of the boxes. All I'm doing is simple embroidery, and then I put them back in the boxes, and they pick them up. They did pay $650 for the embroidery. It's just a service. That's all they're paying for is my embroidery service. How much they paid for those sweatshirts ain't my business. They may have paid more. Maybe they paid less. They're a business just like me. Maybe, maybe they're using a wholesaler, but, and instead of paying $800, they pay $400, and it's fine. And it's fine. They save a little money that way. A lot of times I tell the other customers, business owners, I tell them, you will save more money. And I'm going to tell you something, business owners appreciate that because I feel as small businesses, we need to help each other out. Okay. I'm a true believer of that. So I tell them the choice is yours. I can get you the shirts. This is how much it will be per shirt. Okay. And that's just the shirt alone. And then the cost of the embroidery on top of that. But I also let them know here's an option. You can just hire me for the embroidery item only, okay, just to embroider, and you go and you bring me the materials. And I'm going to be honest with you, I actually prefer for them to bring me the materials because that is less stress on me. I don't want to be going to pick up 50 shirts and ordering them online and paying the money up front. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I really don't. Okay. I don't like having blanks in stock in my house. It takes up space and all that stuff. Bring the items, let me embroider them, package them up, come pick them up, out they go. Done. Keep it simple. Keep your process simple. But if you want to offer the item plus the embroidery, I always say you double the price of what you pay. Now, this is the other thing. Some people come out and say, well, Jeanette, you're doubling the price. That's right, I am. And I'm going to tell you why I do that. First of all, you're the one that had to order the shirts, which means that when you're the one that had to order the shirts, that means that you had to pick up the shirts. That's labor. That's time. Okay? That's work. Not only did you have to pick up the shirts, when you pick up the shirts, you have to go through the box. You got to look at all 50 shirts to make sure that you didn't get a lemon. All right. I mean, sometimes you order a whole bunch and you could end up getting a shirt where it was discolored or it wasn't sewn right or something like that. There's time involved in that. When I have to go get the item for the embroidery, there's time involved in that. You got to pay me for that. That's not free. Okay. That's why I say that. And this is another thing that I want you guys to think about. Okay. This is something that a lot of times people don't take in perspective. When you buy an item wholesale, okay, and you're buying bulk, what you're doing is when you go to the website and they say, okay, if you want 1 of 5 shirts, it's going to be $20. And if you buy 6 and 15, then it'll be $18 and whatever, right? They're really not giving you a break on the shirts, right? The shirt costs what the shirt costs. Now, if you don't want to do the 100% markup, you don't have to. But the thing is, you don't charge the customer the same price that you pay from the wholesaler, because you have to get paid for that work, because you went and you ordered it. You went and you picked it up. You went and you inspected it. Okay. You're the one that's taking care of all that material. All right. Not the customer. You are. So that is labor. All right. So if you don't want to do 100% markup because you feel that maybe that would be way too high, fine. Do 75%. Do 60%. You really want to go low? Okay. Do 50 then. I wouldn't do 50, but you can do 50 if you want to. Okay. But the thing is, you don't do dollar for dollar. You don't get it at $8 and sell it at $8. You're a business. You're there to make money. You're not to give your stuff away. Okay. So that is something else. Okay. So that was one of the things that, the person had posted, and I said, let me take the time to explain why I do the 100% markup. Okay. And this is the other thing too. Okay. When I get my items wholesale, I'm not getting crappy stuff. Okay. I'm not going to Walmart and buying thin shirts. Okay. I'm getting good quality name brand at wholesale prices. All right. So if my customer was to go into Macy's and get American Apparel or, get Comfort Colors or something like that, and go in another store and buy these sweatshirts, you best believe they're going to be paying about $24 or more for these items. Okay. So maybe they could get a good sale and they could probably get them at $19.99 or something like that, but they're not going to be getting the price that I get. Okay. Because I get them at wholesale prices and stuff, and that's, it's just something you guys got to think about, and you got to remember you're running a business. Okay. And, and this is something else that I want to do. Okay. I want to talk to you guys. Because like I said, blanks are not free. These are some notes that I wanted to share. Stop basing your prices on what the customers want to pay. You don't go to McDonald's and order a Big Mac and the price is $15. And you don't go to the cashier and say, well, I know that on there it says $15, but I'm only willing to pay $8. You think that McDonald's is going to give you that Big Mac meal? No, they're not. And today, with the gas prices going up, have you been able to go into the gas station and say, well, I know it's $5 a gallon, but I'm only willing to pay $2? Are they going to give you a discount? No. It ain't about what the customer wants to pay. Okay. It's about what your price is, period. That is how much you charge for it. Okay. That is how much you charge. Now, there is such a thing as going way too high. Okay. That's why I say you got to be fair. I believe in fairness. I really do. Okay. I am not out there to rob customers, but I'm also not here to work for free. So I believe in being fair. However, knowing this, when people ask for how much something's going to cost, and I already told you guys in the past, you don't give prices right away. You make sure you think about it. You gather all the requirements, and then you tell them, I'll let you know in 1 or 2 days. That way you can sit down. You can really think about how much you want to charge. Once you give them the price, it is set. Discounts is a no. Negotiations is a no. I already know my price is fair. This is how much I want for the work that you want me to do. Period. Okay. I'm not a discount employee. All right. Don't let the customers tell you what they're willing to pay. Because if they're looking for discounts, they need to go to a discount embroiderer. And if you want to be that discount embroiderer, then go ahead, but you're going to lose money. I'm letting you know right up front. Okay. You also got to stop comparing your prices to people who are undercharging. People that are undercharging, that's on them. If they want to work for free, let them work for free. Free country, right? You know, some people like to do charity work. Let them be the ones that do the charity work. You don't have to do charity work, okay? You know what you're worth. You know what you should be charging. You make sure you charge it, okay? If somebody else is doing discount prices, let them do the discount prices. You know, sometimes you can't, you know, it is good to look at your competition, but the thing is also is you have to understand what your value is, and you have to stick to that, okay? You really, really do, okay? And then you also have to stop skipping those digitizing fees. Make sure that you are collecting that money. That money should not be leaving your pocket. Customers should be paying for that. Okay. Make sure. Okay. So, yeah. So let's see. All right. The other thing I want to mention, let's talk about boundaries. Okay. This is where you got to level up. So if, because you got to remember, you're not just someone with a machine. You are a business owner. Okay. Make sure that you set your business hours. Okay. And most importantly, full payment upfront, full, not half, not, you know, I'll pay you later. No, full payment. You don't go to Macy's and say, hey, let me get that dress. I'll take it home and I'll pay you next week. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. Okay. Other businesses are always expecting full payment up front. Why aren't you? Why? It's a service, custom. Okay. So don't do that. Okay. And then also, sometimes, some people, they feel like they have to talk to their customers 24/7. Don't do that either. Don't do that. Okay. You got business hours. Stick to them. Okay. You got to have your boundaries. All right. Just because you have boundaries doesn't mean you're going to lose good customers. What you're doing is you're losing the bad customers. Don't be afraid of losing customers either. Okay. Sometimes those customers that you lose are the ones that are going to give you the most problems. Let them go. Let them go. Let them fly away. Let them just go. It's okay. What you want to do is focus on your good customers, the customers that value you and your work, the customers that know that they're going to get supreme embroidery at very good, reasonable prices. That's what you want. Okay. Those are the customers you want to keep. Okay. If someone's going to be a problem, if someone's going to be picky, if someone's going to try to make you feel bad about your prices and stuff like that, let them go. They're not worth it. Not every customer is meant to be your customer. It's okay. It's okay. Not every project is for you. Okay? You're having a slow month because nothing but jerks are coming towards you. Let the jerks go. You know what you do? Turn on those machines and order something for yourself. Okay? Let that make you feel good. You don't have to be, doing all this stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? There are so many people out there that are miserable, guys. Don't let them enter your life. You are doing this because it's something you enjoy and you feel good about. Keep it that way. Okay? Keep it that way. Don't let them take away that joy and stuff. You got to be strong. Okay? That's why running an embroidery business can get a little bit like, touchy feely kind of thing. Some people don't. Oh, I didn't realize that my screen was small all this time. Sorry, guys. You gotta sometimes have tough skin. Okay. One of the things that I used to tell my son when he was little was sometimes he would get upset because someone had said something to him, and I said, Carlito, sometimes in life not everybody's gonna like you, and it's okay. It's okay. Everybody's different. And when you're running an embroidery business, some people just ain't gonna like the way you do things, and that's okay. But the thing is, what's important is that you're happy doing what you're doing and that you feel valued and respected. That's what it's really all about. Okay. So you got to maintain that. And you got to remember, people are only going to do to you what you allow them to do. If you allow your customers to disrespect you and your work, they're going to keep doing that. Okay. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. And there are a lot of really good customers out there, guys. I have customers, a lot of repeat customers that really love what I do, know that I'm very passionate about it, know that when they come to me, I'm going to have that honest conversation with them. I'll let them know, hey, you off your rocker, that ain't going to work. I'll let them know, but I give them options and alternatives that sometimes they may not have thought about because, of course, this isn't their thing. This is my thing. So I just want to help them out. So, people do appreciate that. The good people, they appreciate that. Okay. They want you to share your expertise with them, give them your opinion and all that stuff. Don't be shy about that, because if you are, what's going to happen is you're going to lose money. You're going to lose money. I'm telling you, you are going to have issues. Okay. So guys, I really hope that what I shared with you guys tonight, you guys have found valuable. I know I'm over the hour and stuff, but I thought this was an important conversation that we really needed to have tonight, because there were those things that were happening this week, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? This is the time where, embroidery work can really get heavy, because you have weddings coming up and people love having dinner napkins embroidered. A lot of times, people have their bridal showers and all that kind of stuff and everything. They love to have like tote bags embroidered and all that kind of stuff and everything. So, we have to work with our customers, and we need to make sure that not only do they have a good understanding of what they do, we want them to be happy with the service that we provide, and we want them to also be happy with their products after we embroider on them. And it's really important that we are confident in what we do, and that we have these conversations with them. And you got to stand your ground also, because I'm going to tell you something. There are, just as much as there are good people out there, there are bad people out there too. And some people just like to take advantage and stuff like that. And you need to know who they are, and you need to weed them out, and you need to make sure that you focus on what's right for you, because what's right for somebody may not be right path for you. Okay. So you got to understand, and you're going to make mistakes, guys. You're going to make mistakes. All right. Because that's the whole thing about embroidery. Okay. You're going to make mistakes when you're running your business. And a lot of the things that I share with you guys, I've experienced them. Okay. I've actually had people come to me and say, ooh, the embroidery is too expensive. And I'm going, it is what it is. I've had people try to hustle me. Trust me, they have tried. You know, I had one lady that she wanted 100 shirts done. I gave her the quote. She said that she could get it done in half. And I said, oh, good for you. I think that's awesome. Well, good luck with that. And then next thing you know, 2 weeks later, she comes to me back and she's like, well, that didn't exactly plan out. Can you do it for this price? And I was like, no, the price is fair. What I quoted you was fair. And then after that, I kind of like just jotted down her name and I said, this is not a customer that I want to have for the future because I know she's going to be a problem. She's going to be a problem. I don't want problems. I don't like problems. Life gives you enough problems. Why invite them in your life, right? So anyway, guys, so I'm going to go down the chat. I want to say hi to you guys like I always do. Hope you guys liked the information that I shared with you guys tonight and that you found it helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you know anyone that's running an embroidery business that might have some type of an issue or you think that this might help them out, please tell them, yeah, she talks a lot, but she brings out some points. So, hopefully this can help people out there. That's why I really wanted to do this tonight because I saw the need is really out there. And I really like to be honest with you guys. I really, really do. Because sometimes you see people, they post a lot of videos. Everything is so great. Everything comes out so pretty. Nobody makes mistakes. Life is just so great. But nobody wants to talk about the issues or the mistakes or, the problems that you can have. Right? Nobody likes to talk about that, but sometimes you got to have these conversations as much as they hurt and as much as sometimes they really can be unpleasant to hear, but you have to, you're not going to grow and you're not going to get better at it. And not only that, I want people to be aware of some of the pitfalls that are out there that can hamper your success because that's what I want. I want people to do well. Okay, so I'm gonna go down. I see Bernardino is in the house. How are you? Hey Rita, how are you? I see Cindy. How are you? Let's see. Marlene is in the house. Jenny, how are you doing? I see Deborah as well. Let's see. Hey Iris, how are you? How you doing? Hey Sue, how are you? Hey Angela, how you doing? Hey Bob, how are you? How you doing? I was thinking about you, Bob, the other day. Let me tell you what I was thinking. I remember at one Embroidery Happy Hour, you corrected me. And I was like, I looked up, I was talking about, how leaders, they all made the mistakes and everything. And I was misinformed. I did not know that Elon Musk actually came from a very wealthy family and stuff. I thought that he was a rags to riches story. I really did. I thought that. And then when you said, that's not true, I said, it's not. I was like, I got to look that up. And yep, sure enough, you were right. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. But, to his thing, I mean, he worked hard. He did work hard. I'm sure, he hustled. But yeah, he had a little silver spoon. You're right. He did. So I thought about you when I read that. I was like, damn, he was right. I was like, I was so wrong about that. I think what it was, I got that impression because I remember he did a interview with, I think it was Gail something. I don't know, Oprah Winfrey's friend or something like that. And he talked about sleeping on the sofa and all that stuff and everything. So I was like, oh, he probably started from nothing, and stuff. But yep, you were right. You were right, Bob. Let's see. I see my sister, Nancy. Yep, girl. I'm going to be watching you next Friday, boy. You're going to be watching that pocketbook. I think I might buy a padlock for it and stuff so that way you can't spend no money. Let's see. I see everybody saying hi to each other. Hey, Robin Quilt Basket. How are you? How you doing? Let's see. Hey, Miss Miller. How are you? Oh, I'm visiting Virginia for your 50th wedding anniversary. Well, happy anniversary. That is so awesome. Oh, enjoy Virginia. It's a beautiful state. I love living here. I love it. Oh my God. Happy anniversary. That is awesome. Okay, let's see. Hey, Miss Pike, how are you? How you doing? Let's see. Let's see you here. Let's see. Let's see who else is out there. Hopefully I don't miss anybody. Okay, I see the little conversations going on. Everybody's wishing Miss Miller a happy 50th anniversary. That's awesome. I commended Nancy's phone. I would love popcorn. Mr. H. Oh my God. Mr. H took Nancy's phone. Oh my goodness. He's probably going to take her credit cards and stuff before we hit H&A, before she gets on that plane. Hey, Roxanne, how are you? Hey, Alma Benz, how you doing? I think I probably just jacked up your name while I was saying it, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, everybody. Oh, she said, I have a 6 needle and I hardly use it. You better put that to work. Don't you let that machine just collect dust. What is that, a paperweight? You need to work it. Work that machine. Have fun with it. There you go. I have 10 needles and I use it every day. No orders or no orders. And also have a SC1900 1 needle. Let's see. I just put most of my quilts on Etsy to sell. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, wow. Look at that. Is that a quilt you made? That is beautiful. I love that. Your icon is, oh, that's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Put the name of your Etsy shop in the chat so that we can all check out your work. Oh my God. I would love to see your quilts. My neighbor does quilting and she got gorgeous quilts. Oh my God. They're just like breathtaking. And now I'm starting to get the quilt bug. Oh, and talk about quilts, guys. I finished my aunt's quilt. I want to show you guys my quilt, okay? This is the quilt. I totally forgot, okay? Because I just started talking. And I want to show you guys the quilt. Let me show you. Totally forgot. Here it is. Look at this. All done and binded. See? And I know it's hard for you guys to see, but I put in each of these blocks right here have family members' names embroidered on them. Okay, and let me show you the back. I sewed the squares. I did stitch in the ditch. As you can see the crossing, I did stitch in the ditch and it just squared and everything. Looks really good. So she wanted pink, so I got the pink for the back. And then this is the binding. I'm going to be mailing it and it's going to go to Puerto Rico tomorrow. So I am pretty excited about it. The quilt came out gorgeous. And it's going to be for my aunt for Mother's Day. So she's gonna she's gonna enjoy it. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, so I'm turning into a quilter myself. I am. Okay. All right. So yes, but please put the name of your Etsy shop so that we can take a look at some of your stuff. That's still awesome. You're trying new things. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. Put a Mother's Day special of 10%. Ah, okay. So you got a sale going on. Oh, there she is, Alba. Let's see. What did Nancy say? She is my new best friend. She's the best for comments. I appreciate you. Oh goodness. Let's see. Oh, I see. Mr. H got back in the doghouse. Okay, he's always in trouble. Mr. H is always in trouble. For those that don't know, Mr. H is actually my sister's husband, and she helps her with her channel, Gifts HQ. He always has some shenanigans going on and stuff, but he's a lot of fun. Hey, SK, how are you? Let's see. I see Cindy Bell on here as well. Let me see. And I think that's it. Did I say hi to everybody? Oh, hey, Beth. How are you? Beth and Chuck is in the house too. Miss McFake, I think I said hi to you also. Hey, Debbie. How are you? Let's see. let's see. Um, let's see. I'm going down to see if anybody has questions and stuff like that. I think I said hi to everybody, and if I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. Um, let's see. Okay, Jeanette, how is the Tesla? Okay, guys. Well, let me tell you. All right. Well, I did. Thanks for asking. I for those of you guys that don't know, I did sell my 2018 Tesla Model X, and I purchased a 2026 Tesla Model X because it's being discontinued. Now, the Tesla currently is in the shop, and the reason why it's in the shop is because I'm getting it wrapped. I'm getting a full clear body wrap on it to preserve the paint. Because I always do this to all my cars because sometimes you get rock chips and all that kind of stuff and everything. And I'm kind of very similar to my dad. My dad was very particular about his cars, so I kind of am too. But it is in the shop, and once I get it out, and I know they're still working on it because I checked on it today and I saw that the hood was up and all that stuff. Once I get it, I will do a video and I will show you what the new one looks like. I changed the color and everything. My first one was a white on white, and this time it is red with cream interior. It looks so nice. So yeah, but I am loving it. It's fully autonomous, drives me everywhere. Love it. I definitely gonna have to pick up my neighbor when I get it, so that me and her can go for a ride, because I don't think she's ever been in a fully autonomous car yet. So it's gonna be awesome. But I'm loving it, Cindy. I am a Tesla girl. I've been driving them since 2018, and I think I'm gonna be driving them forever because I love the car. It's a great product. For me, it's a great product and stuff. Let's see. Hey, Liliana, how are you? Yes, like I always say, we're not in the industry to lose money. We're not. And if anyone doesn't know, Liliana, this is her YouTube channel. She has really been a great inspiration to me. She has really been a mentor to me. She's helped me out with a lot of orders of mine in the past. You should really check out her channel. That is her channel, In Print Now. And I mean in Bro Print Now. And she has been in the business before people were embroidering on YouTube. Okay. She's the real deal. Okay. She is the real deal, in my opinion. Because her work is phenomenal, and she is somebody that has helped me a lot, even with when I wasn't too sure. And she even helped build, I mean, what you see today, actually, I owe it to Liliana, because there have been times. So I totally understand how when people start an embroidery business, they get scared. They're not sure of themselves. She helped build my confidence. She really did, because there were a lot of times when I was like, oh my God, I don't know. And I would call her and ask her, and she'd go, you can do it. You can do it. Just do it. And next thing you know, confident went shoop up. And I was like, whoa. So sometimes you just need that person to push you to that next level. And she has been it for me. And I will always be grateful to her. I will always be grateful to Liliana, because she has always, I mean, she is, to me, she's like my favorite. She is. She will always be my favorite. I love it. I love that, she does her YouTube videos in Spanish, but you can change it to the English version so you can understand what she's showing. But she's the real deal, guys. She has been doing this for over 20 years. She's been doing it for a very, very long time. And she was doing it before people were teaching other people on YouTube. She's truly self-taught. She knows her stuff. I mean, she knows her stuff. So, God, and I'm always like, oh, she's watching me, because I mean, and I watch all of her stuff. I mean, as soon as she puts out a new one there, I'm watching. I'm like, what's she doing? What's she doing? Always learning. And she is a great person to learn from as well. She really is. Highly recommend that channel. Highly recommend it. Let's see. And Debbie. Okay. Jeanette is like, It's like a business therapist. Christine Home Affairs shows how she times how long it takes and her rate of pay plus supplies. Yes, and I love her channel too. Christine Home Affairs. If you guys don't know her, I was watching her because she would get fabrics from these stores and she would reupholster them and she would use them to make bags, pouches, and all that kind of stuff and everything. She's really, really good at what she does. And yes, you are right, Debbie. And that's one of the things. Think about it. And she just sews. She doesn't do embroidery. She just does sewing. And think about this. She does the sewing, and just like Debbie says, she says that when she makes one product, she does time it. How long does it take for me to make this pouch? And then she has an hourly rate. And then she calculates that into the price. As an embroiderer, we should be using the same formula because your time is money. Okay? Your time is valuable. Don't do that. Don't you're not working for free. You're not. You're really not. You're not working for free. So make sure that you guys, it is so important. And I feel like that's why when I see people say, how much do you charge? And somebody comes out and says, oh, I do $1.50 per thousands of stitches. No, I understand you're using thread. I got it. But the thing is, it's more than that. It's more than that. And I see people do that all the time. They say, okay, well, if it's a dollar per thousand, then if it's 10,000 stitches, then it's only $10. No, it's not only $10 because I mean, and this is the other thing too. I want you guys to think about this. Okay. You have a design, it's 10,000 stitches. Let's say in the design, you have something that's very, very detailed and you have to use 60 weight thread with 65 9 needle. And let's say you have to, because the fonts are very small, you have to slow the machine down, okay? Because you want to make sure that when it's stitching those small letters, it's stitching slow so that way it looks nice and clear. You're not skipping stitches and stuff like that, right? So you have to slow down the machine. Now, if you did that method where you say it's $1 per thousand stitches and it's $10, right? Do you think that's the same as if you had the same design, you had to slow down the machine? Let's say you had to slow down the machine and then that logo, it took you, I don't know, let's say 20 minutes or a half hour to stitch out because it was a lot of word in there, okay? Maybe it was 20 minutes or a half hour to stitch out. So you worked for a whole half hour, okay, for $10. And then, okay, let's talk about your stabilizer. Let's say it's a patch. You had to put twill for $10. You did all that for $10. Your machine, your electric, $10. Seriously, guys, come on. You have to think about this. Okay, you got to think about it. And when you're new, when you're doing this for the first time, these are not things that you think about automatically, right? You don't like go, oh, I need to think about this or that, whatever. This is stuff that really comes to you as you start to experience a little bit more. When you start really learning more about embroidery and running a business and all that kind of stuff, that is it. But I will tell you this, and I want to, and I'm very, very vocal about it. If I am not going to get paid properly for my work, I'd rather have the machine shut off. Honestly, I'd rather do that. I'd rather just have them shut off and then I'll go quilt and I'll make beautiful quilts just like this with my embroidery machine for my family and my friends, because I do not want to start a business and then have customers come in and me be taken advantage of. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I don't want to. Okay. All right. So, let's see. Yeah, Nancy's working so hard on her craft room. I love watching Christina and how she figures it all out. Yep. And it's really the same. It's really the same. You know, you really have to take all these things into account. Um, let's see. Okay. Here it is. What is the charge for a rush order normally? Whatever you want it to be. Whatever you want it to be. Some people will say there's a $20 upcharge, $25 upcharge. And this is the other thing, Marlene. This is the thing that I would consider. It also depends when the order is being placed. Okay. Like for instance, if it's Christmas time and I have a whole bunch of stockings in this room that I have to get done, and I have back-to-back orders, and you want to cut that line, it's probably going to cost you about $35 to cut that line. $35, $40. On top of the cost of the embroidery. Okay? And you'd be surprised at how that rush order isn't that much of a rush anymore. Okay? So, you know, if you are very, very swamped, okay, you're very backed up, that rush order price should go up. All right. Because I know during like certain seasons, if I have a lot of orders and stuff, and somebody comes to me with a rush order, and I see, hey Mello, you can come in, Papa. And then let's see that come on in. And then he wants to say hi. There you go. Okay, Papa. Okay. And then let's say that, I could stop one machine and it's not really going to take too long for me to make that item, but it is a rush. Okay. So maybe my rush order fee won't be that steep, but I do add a rush order fee. I have to add a rush order fee because the thing is, you're asking me to stop processing other people's work so that I can work on yours. Okay. Meanwhile, the people that I'm working on, okay, they had no problem with staying on a schedule. And I promised them a certain due date. Now, this is the other thing that I want you to also understand, Marlene, okay, is I will not take a rush order if that means that I cannot deliver my other customers' items on time. Okay. Because the last thing I want is for me to delay delivering an order just because somebody else skipped the line. If I can do that order without affecting my other customer, fine. I'll do it, but you're gonna have to pay me a fee because that means that I'm gonna have to stay up later. Okay. And make some adjustments. There's an inconvenience in that. Okay. But I am not going to, if a customer has to pick up their order by Friday, and if I take your rush order, and that means that by Friday, I'm not going to have that customer's order ready for them to pick it up. I'm not taking I can't do it. No, I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to screw my other customer just because you have a rush. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing you need to consider. Okay. You got to think about that and stuff like that. You got to remember, this is your business. It's not theirs. It's yours. Okay. You have to run it the way you see fit. And you want to make sure that you're taking care of your customers, especially the good ones that have no problem with paying good money for your quality. Okay. But remember, it's like I said, if you're going to be asking for good money for your embroidery, you better make sure your embroidery is top notch, and you better make sure your customer service is top notch too. And you better make sure you're delivering on time. Okay. So just like you want them to hold their end of the bargain of paying top dollar, you got to make sure that you're holding your end of the bargain, which is providing superior service. Okay. You can't slack and then expect them to pay for you, being late and giving them crappy work and all that kind of stuff and everything. So it goes hand in hand. Okay. It really does. All right. Let's see if I have any questions out there. Okay. Would you be able to show a blank invoice or talk on how you created it when you felt it was important to put on it? I kind of AMG, I kind of already told you guys the details of everything that goes in my invoice. Invoices can come in all different types of forms. I use QuickBooks. So QuickBooks generates a blank invoice. And I've already kind of talked to you guys about what I include in there. Whatever discussion you have in there, AMG, the better. Okay. So whatever conversation you have, the type of clothing that they're bringing to you, if the customer is going to provide you the item, you say, I'm embroidering on customer provided items. Okay. You're going to put as much information about the logo, the color threads, the size of the logo, any fonts, font styles, all the details. You just put it all in there. You put it all in there. If you want, even include the stabilizer that you're going to use. If you're going to use cutaway or you're going to use tearaway. If you find that the shirts are pretty thin and you need to put 2 sheets of cutaway, make sure that you put that in the invoice. Each shirt will include 2 sheets of cutaway stabilizer. But at the same time, think about this. You're using 2 sheets of cutaway stabilizer. Are you charging for 2 sheets? Make sure. Because the thing is, when you're putting all the information on your invoice, you want the customer to know what they're paying for. Okay? That's what they're paying for. The more detail, the better. And at the same time, you want to make sure that there's no misunderstandings about what they are getting. Okay? Your money is buying you this. Okay? You want to make sure. All right? So hope that helps. Let's see. Another code word, custom. Yes. Cindy said, do you have a depreciation fee of machines on each order? Maybe using last year's numbers and expect to see life of the machine. No, I don't do that. My machines are, well, the depreciation for my machines usually comes during tax time. My tax person handles all that. So when we do our taxes, we do the depreciation of the machines and stuff. And, so I don't do depreciation costs per order. If you have one that you calculated, you want to do that, you can. My focus is mostly on the amount of time it takes to do the embroidery, the type of stabilizer that I use, let's see, the type of stabilizer, any type of digitizing. I also look at, if I have to use different types of weight thread, different size needles. I also think about, the whole processing, the whole process and stuff like that. The machines are paid for and stuff like that, but there is a depreciation in there. There is, but you got to remember, I try to put everything down, like the cost of stabilizer and everything. And then what I do is I look at the price and then I go, okay, what's fair? What's a fair price? Okay. Because I'm not going to charge $1,000 for an embroidery. Well, some people could. Okay. Because depending, if you want, I remember, I think I was talking with Bob. Me and Bob were talking because once he had a customer and wanted some type of embroidery, and it was a big embroidery with lots of different colors. It was a very complex, very detailed design. And then, yeah, that's right. That's going to cost you some money because that design was going to be under his machine for hours. Okay. And sometimes you can't walk away from a machine when it's on. Sometimes you got to watch it. You're going to have some break threads and all that kind of stuff and everything. So you got to think about all that stuff. But the depreciation fee of the machines, I don't know if Liliana puts that in there, but I know that's not something that I kind of consider when I'm doing the orders. It's not something that I could do that. Let me see. Let's see. I was in an accounting at a car dealership. We had a percentage per repair order per car with a minimum flat total of $10 per car. We used the money collected for the future chop equipment. Oh, okay. I guess that's something you can do. Yeah, but it's not something that I usually do. I don't really add that on there and stuff. I do have a flat fee. Okay. I do have a flat fee. I don't care if it's just one little small letter. I will not turn that machine on for less than 20 bucks. I have a flat fee. That's for sure. Okay. The machine will stay off. And I have customers that say, it's only one letter. It doesn't matter. I still have to, create the design. I still have to save the file. I still have to transfer the file. I still got to use stabilizer. I got to turn on the machine. I'm using electricity. I mean, hello. That's my minimum wage. That's the minimum. If it's, I will not turn it on. I just won't. You just got to go somewhere else, let's see. Oh, okay. When do you ask the customer to pay for the order he placed and you are providing all? Okay. When do you ask the customer to pay for the order that he placed and you are providing all? If I am providing the shirts and I'm providing the shirts and the designing, I write up the invoice and I say, you got to pay the whole thing. Once they pay the whole thing, then I tell them up front, after I receive payment, I order your shirts and then I start digitizing. This is the turnaround. And once I receive the whole thing, I send them the invoice with all the details, Liliana. And then once they pay the whole thing, then I start working. And I'm going to tell you why I don't do, I know some people do the 50, you pay 50, then you pay the final when you come to pick up, because people hustle. That's why I don't do it. Because I had a lady once, and this happened I think 3 years ago. There was a subscriber. And let me tell you what happened to her. She did a whole bunch of shirts for somebody. And she told the lady how much it was. And she said, give me, and she did the whole thing. She picked up the shirts and everything, right? She did them. And then she told the lady, well, you pay 50% now, and then you could pay the rest when you pick them up. She came to pick them up, and then she said, oh, I thought that was it. Then she played dumb. No, I paid the whole thing. So what do you do with that? You got a whole bunch of shirts that are already embroidered, and now they don't want to pay you the other half. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm like, no. Nope, I'm not dealing with that. You pay the whole thing, and then you got yourself a product. I don't do the 75%. I don't do 50%. I pay 100%. When I see all the money, then with that money, I go and I'll buy your shirts, pick them up. I'll do that and stuff, and I'll tell you when to come pick them up. That's it. That's it. You got your paid receipt. Okay? That's how I do it. That's how I do it. Okay. What happens if the customer goes and gets a lot of sweatshirts and they are not good to embroider on? Do they get mad that you won't do them? No. No, I tell them why. I tell them why. And this is the other thing that I tell Miss Miller. This is something that I tell customers too. First they call me on the phone. And a lot of times I have conversations with them. And I'll tell them, I said, before you buy the shirts, show me what you want to buy. Or if you buy them, save the receipt. Because not all, depending on your logo, whatever, it may not look good. You know what I'm saying? So I tell them up front, if they bought all those sweatshirts without having a conversation with me, that's not my problem. That's their problem. That's not, this is the other thing too, Miss Miller, that you have to think about. Let's say they bring you some crappy shirts, thin as hell. You can embroider on them, yeah. You go ahead and you do all the embroidery on that work. Or let's say that the shirt is so thin that all of a sudden it's very difficult to embroider on. Why would I want to take that on? Why would I want to take that on? Knowing that type of material is going to be very difficult for me to embroider on. I don't want those problems. And then the other thing, look at the other flip side. They give it to me. I embroider them. They look great. And then they take them, they wash them, They wear them, they get dirty, they wash them, they dry them, and then it looks like crap. Who do you think they're going to blame? Who do you think they're going to blame? Do you really think they're going to come on and say, well, it's because I bought cheap shirts? No, they're going to blame me. They're going to blame me. I won't do it. I just won't. If they want to get mad, let them get mad. That's not a customer that I want. That's how I just look at it. I'm sorry. That's just how I am. It's how I am. I was good at that job. I was a successful realtor. I do not want to work ever again. Embroidery is my happy life. Let's see. Metal yellow first red, metal yellow first red, metal yellow first red. Great light. Oh, thank you, Liliana. Try not to spend too much money. Oh my goodness. There you go. I would take my mistakes to towns over and donate to Goodwill, maybe a good write-off. Yep. And you know what, Cindy? I remember once I messed up on $2,000 worth of bags. You know what I did? I created patches with inspirational sayings on them. I sold them on the backpacks and I donated them to a school. There you go. Always look for a good way to turn a negative into a positive. Hey, Fran, how you doing? Roxanne says, I like and appreciate your examples and points. I'm learning to be less uncomfortable when dealing with clients as I build my hobby, which is most commonly applique work. Time consuming. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Roxanne, people don't understand that because there are a lot of cutting of fabric that you have to do. It's applique. It looks beautiful and everything, but very, very time consuming. It is. It is time consuming. And people don't understand that, you know, and it is fun to do. I just love applique too, because, you know, applique is a lot of fun. Hey, Doris, how you doing? Hey, Clara, how are you? Let's see. Is there anyone? Yeah, I read that too. He was abused growing up. His father had used to have him and his brother fist fight. Yeah. I know. I heard about that too. Yeah. Love your quilt. It's gorgeous. Oh, thank you. I know. I had fun making that quilt. I knew you were going to get that quilting bug. Deborah, you're right. I am. I got the quilting bug. I do. Oh my God. Let's see. Yes, you missed me. Oh, you have to look at my other channel. You got another. Oh, Liliana, please post your other channel in the comments. Let's see, because I would like to watch that. Oh, there was another golden doodle. Let me see. And Beth said, I had a rush bulk order, 18 hours notice, and charged $30. There you go. It was 24 hoopings for customer supplied hoodies. I was happy to make the money from the bulk order and hope for future orders. There you go. I'm telling you, people will pay those rush order, the charges, because they understand. They understand, you know. Let's see. How do you decide what packaging your items need? Okay. The way that I package I don't like packaging. Okay. Packaging items. All right. What I like, my whole thing is to make sure that your items get there safely and not damaged. All right. So I like to use, I use, shipping bags. Okay. And I make sure that they're very good quality. But I double wrap my stuff. Okay. I have a clear bag that I put the items in, and then I put it into a shipping bag. All right. I stay away from the boxes because boxes can add to the weight. And when they add to the weight, that costs money. Okay. So, that's something that, that you have to think about. So, the packaging really depends on you, and also the presentation that you want to give to the customer. When it comes to my Etsy stuff, I usually use the shipping bags. Those are sufficient for me. Let's see. Does this ever happen to you? I'm learning to give the price after they email the voucher file so I can see it. So many people push for a price. 20 polos. Final. No. Okay. This is how I handle that, Beth. First of all, when people are pushing for prices, they know what they're doing. What they want to do is they want you to spit out a number so that they can hold you to that number. What you do is you just tell them it's custom work. I need to get all the details. Once I get all the details, then I can get back to you 1 or 2 days and give you an estimate, okay, of how much it's going to cost. Just because they send you that vector file, that is not enough for you to determine how much it's going to cost. You still have to talk to a digitizer. When you reach out to the digitizer, you can ask the digitizer, how many stitches do you think this design is going to be? Okay. By looking at the design, you can kind of tell if the design is going to have small details in there that's going to require for you to slow down that machine. If you see that you're going to have to slow down the machine, that already tells you, that's an indication that that design is going to be under the needle for a longer period of time. So, never, I just don't allow people to push me or pressure me for a price. Okay. And I'm very blunt. I just tell them I don't spit out prices that way. That's not how I work. Every job is custom. Every job is different. Every job is priced differently. I have to think about it. I have to gather all the requirements. I have to have a discussion with my digitizer, and I have to see what's involved in the process before I can give you a price. You just tell them that. That's it. And I'm going to tell you something. If you have somebody that is pushing and pushing and pushing and can't understand that, walk away from that customer, because that means they're going to have problems with them, because they don't respect you. They're not respecting the process. Okay. So you have to, and I think that's where a lot of people have issues. Okay. Is that they don't, I think what it is that people are afraid of losing the customer. I don't see it that way. I see it as, what you're losing is not a customer. What you're losing is a problem. That's what you're losing, because that right away gives you an indication that someone is difficult to work with. You don't want that. You don't want it. Trust me. Okay. You would prefer to play with your machine than to deal with someone like that. Okay. So just something to think about. Okay, Beth. Hey, Jenny. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, okay. My other channel is about my process building my retirement at Combs. Okay, I gotta watch that channel. I'm gonna watch that. I'm writing that down because I want, because I be watching you. R-E-10. Okay, I'm gonna be watching that channel. Oh my God, I didn't know you started another channel. Oh my God, I didn't know. Thank you for helping me pricing on the vector. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, good. Looks like I got everybody's comments and stuff like that. Oh my God. So guys, I know this has been a long one. It's been 2 hours and we've been talking and stuff, but I really wanted to talk to you guys about this. I really, really did, because like I said, I really want to see people do well. I really do. And I know that sometimes it's about, you just got to have that confidence, and you just got to have somebody out there to come on and say, no, you can do this. You can do this. Okay. Don't be shy. you know. And this is another thing too. Like, remember what I said before. I have a pretty strong personality. I am one of those people that, you don't want to go to a store with me and try on an ugly dress. Okay. And I'm the friend. Okay. Trust me, I'm the friend in the room that if it don't look good on you, I'm going to tell you. Okay. I'm not going to say it like loud or anything, but I'm going to take you to the side and I'm going to say, I know you think you look cute, but let's try something else on. That's the type of person that I am. Okay. And I know that a lot of people don't have this personality that I have. And you can still run an embroidery business if you're not a people person, and you're not really, you have trouble with having conversations like this with people. Totally got it. Online. So your embroidery online. Very little communication right there. All the communication is done through email. You list your item, you set your price. There's nothing to talk about. They order it, they got it. They don't order it, no big deal, right? There's different ways, But what I'm saying is, when you're running an embroidery business and you have to deal with customers face to face, there are things you're going to have uncomfortable moments at times, but you have to be honest up front, because that way you can succeed. Because if not, then you're going to lose. You're going to lose your money. It's not going to be worth it and stuff like that. So guys, I hope that you found this information valuable. And I saw the question, like I said, next Friday, guys, I am going to be in Chicago. I am Nancy's security guard. I don't believe I will be on live. If I am, maybe I'll film from the hotel with my sister. I don't know. We'll see if maybe I can grab my phone and go live with her or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to play it by ear. I will let you know more in advance. I'll post something on our Facebook group, maybe on Thursday, to let you know if I'm going to go live or not. We'll see. Let's play it by ear. But for now, just know that I am going to be in Chicago, so I may not be able to do the live and stuff, so just to let you guys know. So guys, I hope you really did like today's topic. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And like I said, if you know someone that is also in the embroidery business and you think that the information that I shared today can help them out, please share it, because it's about, helping other people. Because I think there is enough work out there for everybody to be successful. There really, really is. And I want to see people succeed, be happy, enjoy what they do and stuff like that. So guys, I will talk to you. Nancy is so popular. Nancy's so popular. She's a security guard. Awesome. I am her security guard. But most importantly, Jenny, Mr. H has asked me to really guard the wallet, Nancy's wallet. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to try to help her not spend too much money. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to see. Okay. So I will talk to you guys later. I will see you guys. Have a good night. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy those embroidery machines. And remember, don't sell yourself short. Okay. Enjoy what you do and make sure that you know your worth and that you're getting paid for it. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.